Every day I'm shuffling.
Hey, listen.
Hi besties! Hello, my name is Shak and today I'm going to be doing a original book cover challenge which I've kind of had in the works for about a year now. So do forgive me if there is some other challenge out there that is similar to this and I just haven't, researched in a long time. But to my knowledge this is a very original idea. My idea does have a very basic premise. Essentially, I'm going to use my tarot deck, which is the Modern Witch Tarot deck by Lisa Sturley. I think I'll leave a tarot deck review of this exact deck by Nincompoop, which is a very good cohesive video about this deck, its pros, its cons. Not sponsored, I bought this because of Ellie's recommendation, but yeah, it's a very good video to watch. I also featured this deck in a video called Tarot Cards Pick My TBR, so it's the same deck, and we're going to be basically using it. How dramatic that was. Essentially, we'll be using these tarot cards and assigning book covers that look like them or have like similar aspects to them. So for example, I'm going to shuffle maybe about 10 cards and then we'll pull one out. So the first one that's come out for me is the Hermit, just to show you. So maybe I would pull this card and I would think I'm going to try and find something grey on the cover or a woman, like an elderly woman. However I want to interpret that card is how I will pick a book. Essentially, I'm pulling out tarot cards and assigning them with the book cover that I think looks the best, like the most like the card, if that makes any sort of sense. It probably doesn't, it probably doesn't make any sense. If you don't get it, then it will make sense as the video goes on. But for now, we're going to be pulling 10 tarot cards and trying to match them with some similar looking book covers. All right, so the first card that I pulled out was the Six of Cups. So this card has obviously 6 pink cups on it. It has 2 people of color and the seemingly older woman on the card is giving the younger one a cup which is full of, it looks like candy floss, but it's not. It'll be like fortune and wellness and stuff like that. So this might be a bit hard to match with an actual cover, but we'll see. Shuffle number 2 is the Hanged one, and on this card we have a person seemingly in fishnets and trainers, which is a look, okay, and she is hanging upside down. So hopefully we can find a book cover that matches this one. Card number 3 is the Fool. I really like this card for multiple reasons. It's the first card in this tarot deck and it kind of symbolizes new beginnings. I'm really excited to kind of pair this with a book cover because I could get a yellow book or I could get one with a dog on the cover. Who even fucking knows? Card number 4 is the Tower. Obviously, this is a very busy card and it has a lot of meaning behind it. We have a tower that is literally on fire and also being hit by lightning. So that is a lot of stuff going on in one card. We also have people falling from the tower and also getting impaled on the little, like, it looks like icicles to me. But this card generally just represents the fact that change is coming and your world will be shifting in more than one ways. It actually kind of is quite a positive card, even though it looks very busy, it looks very negative, but change is usually a good thing. So maybe that's something I can carry to the book cover that I will choose. For card number 5, we got the Nine of Swords. Now, all the swords cards kind of represent emotional and maybe like emotional turmoil. This card to me just like exudes depression and maybe getting out of that funk or wanting to get out of that funk because she is sat up in bed. She's not completely laid down like in other sword cards. But anyway, this is the card that I pulled and hopefully we'll be able to find a book cover that has some swords on, maybe. The next card that I pulled is the Empress and I fucking love this card. So this card is all about femininity, the divine feminine and divine timing. I absolutely fucking love this card, as I've already said. It just kind of screams female empowerment to me. I don't think it's going to be very hard to find a book cover that kind of embodies this kind of like empress energy, you know? This is the 7th card. So our next pull is the 5 of Pentacles, and in this particular deck we have the 5 of Pentacles as, I think, which represents struggle because it is, it's quite cold in this card. This feels very chilly. But for me personally, this card kind of represents struggle and maybe you're aspiring to something that you're steadily working towards. Maybe it's a little bit tough, it's a little bit hard going and you feel as though you won't make it, but you definitely will, that kind of vibe. I do think that the snow in this card will be especially good for book covers. Now that I think about it, I actually can't think of any books that I own that I have that have snow on them. We'll see, we'll just have to see. This one really wanted to be seen. This is the Knight of Cups, which is card 8. So this card, the King of Cups, often describes to me a not young view of love because that would be the Page of Cups, but kind of like a new, fresh, young vibe of love. Not a lot to work with in terms of like assigning it to a book cover, but we'll see how that goes. Let's see what the card on top is. Oh, and card number 9 is The Lovers. I actually have a book in mind for this. To me, the Lovers card is kind of like coming together with someone in your rawest form, meeting maybe a twin flame. This is probably one of the most religious cards in tarot, I think, because I think we're in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve. And sometimes the Lovers can be all about temptation and sticking with relationships that aren't the best or the healthiest. And a lot of the time when the Lovers card comes up, you should think about what your boundaries are and if you're sticking to them and honoring yourself. So plenty to work with subject matter and also content on this card. So very excited to match it with the book cover. And the last card we have is Death. You can't make this up. You can't fucking make this up. So the Death card isn't always a bad thing in tarot. The Death card just basically means a change of some sort or a death of something. It could be a pattern, it could be a mindset, it could be someone. There is, you know, light at the end of the tunnel because there actually is light in the background of a tunnel. Tarot is not subtle in its designs at all. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have a great time matching this with the book cover, and without further ado, let's do just that. Well, hello, we are now at my shelves. I do have my 10 cards, which I will need to assign to a book cover, and I'm gonna make this into an even more challenging challenge. And I'm gonna try and do it as fast as physically possible. 3, 2, 1, go. I decided to speed this clip up just because I thought it was getting a little bit long. There are some funny moments, but ultimately I'm just repeating myself and being stressed because the challenge was actually very difficult. I still got some really good results, so which you'll see in just a second, but for now, enjoy Mario. So I've officially finished my tarot card book cover challenge. Now I'm just gonna go through all the books I've picked and the cards, and I'm really excited for this actually because it turned out way better than I thought it would. The first card we picked was the 6 of Cups, and I decided to pair this with His Only Wife by Peace Adzo Medi. Basically because of the 2 images of the women on the cover, it kind of has the same vibe because we also have 2 women of colour on the cover of this one as well. So this is basically about a seamstress from Ghana called Afi, who is basically trying to convince her family that she should marry a man, this man, and she's never met him, so she's obviously going to be convincing them for a while. So this wealthy businessman that Afi would like to marry, she doesn't know, I don't think, that his family has selected her to be his wife so that he'll be distracted from his relationship with another woman. Obviously that's like a different vibe to this card, but I feel like some girly wisdom, and also it has some of the same undertones of colour as well. Some of the same like girly wisdom will be in this book as it is in this card. So yes, I think this is an overall okay match. Next we picked out The Hanged One, and this was an absolute pain in my backside to find a cover for. But eventually I settled on I Am Not a Number by Lisa Heathfield. I still haven't read this and I've heard a lot of good things about it, but I decided to settle on this one for The Hanged One because of the red on the person's trousers in this cover. And I suppose the wiring on the cover actually does represent the like fishnets that the person on the card is wearing. So overall an okay match. We next picked out The Fool, and I also paired this with Nick and Charlie by Alice Oseman. These 2 shades of yellow are a little bit off. Now I'm seeing it in actual like natural lighting. Over there they look the same, but over here it just looks completely different. Nick and Charlie is essentially about Nick and Charlie. It is a graphic novel series about them coming of age and coming out and falling in love with each other. Charlie is gay, I believe, and Nick is bisexual. It's about them like figuring out their identities, and it has such a wonderful diverse cast, and it truly is a wonderful graphic novel series. This is a novella based upon that series, and I haven't actually read the latest installment of Hearts to Be Yet or this, so I need to get around to that. But I thought these 2 were an okay match overall. Just a little bit of a shame how the yellow on both of them doesn't exactly match perfectly, but it's still yellow, so it counts, it's cool. Next we have one of the best matches of this video, and we have the Tower card and also Hunger Games by Caitlin Collins. These 2 match super duper well. We have the gold from both the lightning and the symbol on the front of the Hunger Games, and also kind of like the subject matter of the Hunger Games and also what the Tower represents. But I think the Tower card really encapsulates what the Hunger Games is about, because it's all about change and rebellion and changing a system that doesn't really like, you know, benefit everyone. So yeah, I thought this was a perfect match actually. Very good one, and I'm proud of myself for coming up with this because it's excellent. Next we have another good match. These next couple I think are quite well done, and this is for 9 of Swords, and I paired this with the Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. Although these don't match perfectly, and from like the covers I suppose you could say that the dashes of colour and also the black on each of the covers do match, it's not like an immediate immediate win. But the Poet X is about Xiomara, who is a slam poet, and she has an extremely strict mother who doesn't like poetry, doesn't like her dating people. She just wants her to keep to herself, not take up space, not speak too loud. But Xiomara really wants to go out in the world and experience things as a young woman, and so as she does this, she writes poetry about it. And it's all about, you know, Xiomara's anguish with her mother and religion, and also people sexualizing her and telling her not to take up space in one breath, but also sexualizing her in the next. I really enjoy this book. I love it so much. I think the writing is absolutely beautiful, and I think it perfectly encapsulates what this card means, and some parts of the cover as well. Next we have a very good match as well, and that is The Empress and Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. The color concepts on both of these are matched immaculately. We've got the red maroon color, we've got oranges, we've got reds, we've got all of the colors in the world that match together. That is so perfectly matched. Honey Girl is essentially about Grace, who has just completed a PhD in astrology, and now she doesn't really know what to do next. She really would like to go and just like see the world, and so her and her friends go on a vacation to Las Vegas, and she gets married to a woman that she's never met. She's very drunk and she kind of regrets it. Although this book wasn't what I expected it to be, and it let me down exponentially, I still think that these two match so well together. I think that they exude strong female energy. Grace is a very strong female main character, and the Empress just, they go so well together. You can't deny it. Next we have a decent match, and that is for the Five of Pentacles and for Aristotle and Dante. The reasons why I've matched these two together is because the pentacles on the front of the tarot card kind of look like the medals on the side of the book, which is basically just like awards that Aristotle and Dante has won. I also think that the snow on the front of the Five of Pentacles kind of looks like the stars on the front of the cover. There aren't many of the stars, and there's loads of snow on the front of the Five of Pentacles. But I still think that it is a good match because there's a little bit of an illusion there to the snow. Overall, kind of the same colors, kind of like blues and silvers and white. And I think it's an okay match. I think it's good. Next, we have one that I definitely pulled out my ass, and that is The Knight of Cups and The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. So the reason why I paired this initially visually was because her hair and also the cup, it kind of matches, the pink on here kind of matches the pink on the card. But also I feel like the subject matter of the book and also the card match very well as well. So The Black Flamingo is basically Michael's origin story as a drag queen. So he goes from being a very insecure gay man to a very flamboyant, camp drag queen who knows his worth and knows what he wants in life. And at the beginning, he very much is a representation of the Knight of Cups card, where he has so much love to give to the world, but he's learning how to harness that and how to give it to the right people. So definitely a good match in terms of like theory and subject matter, but maybe not the actual card itself, which was the challenge. But what are you gonna do, right? It's my challenge. These last two cards fit absolutely perfectly. I don't care what anyone else says, these fit fucking so well. And that is The Lovers and Normal People by Sally Rooney. I can't say normal people with my lisp. My mouth feels so big. Normal people. But these two are such a good match for in more ways than one. Obviously the color of the cover matches the angel/devil wings on the card of The Lovers and the apples on the trees as well. And then the side of Normal People matches the other colors on the cover. So not only does the front, but the spine matches as well. I also think the subject matter of both of these two things match very well as well. So The Lovers is all about, you know, boundaries and stepping away from maybe unhealthy relationships that you've engaged with. In Normal People by Sally Rooney, there is definitely that kind of relationship where they both meet each other at the wrong time and they have a very unhealthy relationship. And it's very much a story of character analysis and development, because these two characters cannot stay away from each other and they definitely should. But yeah, so this fits The Lovers absolutely perfectly, and I'm so proud of myself for coming up with this. It's great. And last but not least, we had the one, the only, the Death card. And I pair this up with Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahern. But I think these two fit very well. They both got very dark covers. So Serpent and Dove is black all over, and then the Death card is also black, but it has these twinkles of gold, which also Serpent and Dove does have. I'm not sure if the subject matter of both of these do match up, but the cover definitely does. And I think that's a win. Alrighty, there you have it. There is my original tarot card book scavenger hunt challenge. Feel free, if you have tarot cards and if you have a book collection of any kind, Do try this if you would like to and send me your results. You'll be actually surprised what you can find. It was very difficult and overwhelming at the start, but I feel like I got there in the end and I had some really good picks. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more like this. I was thinking of doing like a tarot cards recommendations video, so if you want to see that, give it a massive thumbs up. But yeah, that is it from this video. Please give a massive thumbs up again if you enjoyed. Subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. The best way to keep up my reads is Goodreads, which will be linked down below. I shall see you next time, hopefully. But for now, hope you enjoy any reads that you pick up and hope you have a jolly good old time. Goodbye!